Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Man, life be lifing, okay? And I tell everybody like this, enjoy every moment of life as long as you have a chance to do so. Smile a lot. Try your best to, regardless of what's going on, because life is certainly going to make time to throw you some sorrows. And this is one of those stories. We were asked to cover this story about a couple of weeks ago. However, we did not cover the story because the story was a fast developing story with many moving parts, and we did not want to jump in and confuse anybody for entertainment's sake. We only wanted the facts. So now that the story seems to be on the downside slope, we can actually give you some solid info as to what took place and a better understanding of the situation. Even a lesson for all of us listening to this. A family's fight to save a 23-year-old student from New York City's hospital as they were trying to take her off life support. May I remind you that this young lady is Jamaican, but she was being schooled in the United States of America and ran into some medical difficulties while she was here, and the rest is as follows. The family of this New York City college student left comatose after brain surgery was fighting to stop the hospital from taking the young woman off of life support. The hospital is saying she got to come off life support, which means she would die, and her family was fighting to save her, to keep her on it. Her name was Amber Ebanks, and she was 23 years old, a business student at Monroe College. She suffered what was called a arterial venous malfunction or malformation, or in medical terms, a AVM, a rupture, back in February, according to the family's GoFundMe page. She went in for what was called a scheduled surgery at Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx, New York, to stop the bleeding. But July 30th, around then, on July 30th, she suffered a major stroke during the operation, and she was put into a medically induced coma. Went in for what was pretty much not so much a routine procedure, but it was something she was expected to do and then be out of the hospital. Things are going to be all right until she suffered that massive stroke during surgery. Now, a lot of people can argue here, did the doctors do something wrong that induced a stroke? You know, every operation is risky, really. The human body is delicate. So the hospital had declared her brain dead, and they wanted to pull the plug. But her family was fighting in civil courts to keep her on life support until she can be transferred to a care facility. Now, you could see why. Tell you the truth, many people have gone to the brink of death and have come back from a coma, and in a coma that they had been in for a long time. And she was not in a coma for that long, so her family was not ready to lose hope yet. The Montefiore Hospital, or Montefiore Hospital, according to them, are some of the cruelest people I have ever known. This is what her sister, Kay Ebanks, told ABC 13 News back then. Sad situation. You know, a lot of emotions are involved. You're losing a family member, a young, vibrant, beautiful family member who you're watching go. Her sister said she was perfectly fine. And it's unbelievable the condition she is in right now. And then they want to take her off life support. And it's not even been a month at the time when they were pushing to have her taken off life support. I've seen people on life support for over a year. The family's attorney, Chauncey Henry, did interviews where Chauncey Henry said that they have been able to obtain a temporary restraining order against the hospital to keep Amber on life support. So after she suffered the AVM rupture, she was able to return to life as normal. She drove herself to the scheduled surgery, and she recorded advice doctors gave her. So she was up and about and fully functional when she walked into the hospital. I know right now a lot of people are saying, y'all sure they didn't take her organs? So AVMs, so everybody understand what this is, are abnormal tangles of blood vessels which can cause irregular connections between the arteries and the veins, which often develop in the spinal cord and in the brain. Amber's surgery was planned to immobilize the vessel, a medical procedure that's designed to prevent or stop hemorrhaging, bleeding. They finally said that they have not been given a reason as to why the hospital was so eager to end her care. When you have someone who hasn't woken up yet, how can you decide that? When it comes to brain injuries, time is needed. There shouldn't be a rush to judgment. And her family was fighting desperately to keep that young lady alive. Like any muscle, the brain takes time to heal. It's only been 3 weeks. Amber's father lives in Jamaica, where Amber is from. And at this time, he was actually trying to obtain a visa to get to the U.S. to see his daughter. You can imagine the frantic scene, right? You don't have the proper papers to travel. They're not expediting your paperwork. You're thinking, oh my God, I might not see my daughter again alive. New Beginnings, a Long Island facility, that's a care facility, had agreed to take Amber over for care. Everybody needs hope. You can't give up. You can't just take them off life support when she needs more time. That was what the founder of New Beginnings, Allison Scarry, told the local news station when they inquired, why are you guys taking her? The hospital says she's brain dead and, it's time to let her go. And they were like, you can't just give up. A hospital spokesperson also said that they could not comment due to the patient privacy laws, due to HIPAA, HIPAA, and patient privacy rules. They weren't able to provide any specifics regarding individual patients. The hospital's decisions are guided by both government regulations and a commitment to uphold the highest standards of care for our patients, is all they had to say. I can tell you this. I'm trying to find out if insurance has a play in this. Does insurance have a play in this? One person said, man, what a terrible situation for that family to be in. I have made it very clear to my family, if I suffer an accident, health emergency, etc., and I'm rendered brain dead, and they are to let me go. Leave me alone and let me go. This is a very unfortunate communication issue, another person said. Someone says, I worked in healthcare on all 60 long-term patients that I have are not USA citizens. The majority of mine are from Haiti, and the families also don't work, and they will have free healthcare, free 24 hours nursing. Well, I don't know about all that because that only happens for um, a short period of time. But usually, if your insurance does not cover them keeping you on life support for an extended period of time, they're that cold. They will try to take you off life support. They will literally go, well, I guess this is the end of the road because, you can't afford to keep on paying for our services, so we just got to let you die. And that's the reality. We've seen in the United States of America where people literally cared for a person in the hospital about 2 weeks, and then they said, well, that's the compassionate care. But this person has no insurance. This person has nothing to pay for their stay and our services. So they placed that individual in a wheelchair and wheeled them out the hospital doors onto the sidewalk and left them there. What's the lesson I'm trying to tell you here? Insurance, insurance, insurance. We wake up every day and we spend money on the foods we like to eat, the clothes we like to wear, the cars we like to drive. We make sure we have full insurance on our cars just in case an accident happens. You could just write that car off and then get your dream car or get a new and better car. You spend money on all kinds of stuff, going on vacations, doing whatever you do with your money. But a lot of people are not investing in insurance. They take the bare minimum that the government's able to give them, but they have no long-term care insurance just in case something happens. I, for one, doing this video right now, have had in place for quite a few years now long-term care insurance that would cover all my bills, including my hospital stay and rehabilitation, for up to 2 years. That is if I am in a situation that this young lady has found herself in. My bills would still be paid. My hospital stay would 100% be covered. And I pay into that through AAA every month. I just have it automatically taken out of my account because you have to plan ahead. But that's the thing about life. When someone is like 21 years old, these are not things that you think about. You think, I have my whole life ahead of me. I'm not dying anytime soon. I got a long life to live. But man, listen. So the first time this story ran when I saw it, the headline had said, Jamaican student clings to life on a hospital bed in the United States of America. And it was written by Tiffany Price, published in Jamaica August of 2024. And it said that a promising 23-year-old Jamaican business student, Amber Ebanks, is in a fight for her life at the United States of America, USA-based Montefiore Hospital in Bronx, New York. Doctors have declared that she was brain dead and are pushing to take her off life support. That's a decision that her family is desperately trying to prevent, especially since her father is yet to leave Jamaica to be by her side. This is the time he was trying to get his paperwork together, a visa, to go see his daughter. Amber was an international student and she had moved to New York City in 2021 to pursue her degree in business management and accounting at Monroe College. She was a vibrant young woman with dreams of entrepreneurship. Her life took a tragic turn when a minor stroke in February led to the discovery of an AVM in her brain. Despite undergoing surgery on July 30th to address the AVM, more complications developed which left her in a coma. Her older sister, Caitlin, was barely able to speak as she described the situation to the Star in Jamaica because they did an interview with her. She says, my sister is in the palliative care unit at Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx, New York, on the Moses campus. Palliative care units provide specialized medical care for people who are living with serious illnesses. Caitlin alleged that the hospital staff had been eager to pull the plug on her sister. On the same day they pronounced her, organ donors were there asking my family questions, she said with a weakened voice. See, this is what I was talking about right here. Are they sure this wasn't about organ donorship? And I tell people this also, you better take good care of your health as best as you can, because I don't know if you know it, and this is not me speaking bad about the healthcare system in the United States of America, but as good as it is, thousands of people die by mistake, doctor's mistake, every single year. You can look that up. She said that she had been here for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, and she's so young. And it's like they don't want to give her a chance. As Amber lies in palliative care, her father, Richard Ebanks, was racing against time to be by her side. And the sister at this point said, Daddy is attempting to come over. He went to the embassy and he was granted his visa, but it's a process. But at the hospital, they are hastening their process. And I wonder what the hurry is. The elder Ebanks' sister is clear, or the elder Ebanks, the father, is clear in his mind that his trip to the USA will not be to bid goodbye to his daughter. I want to go see her, and my intentions is not to pull the plug. That has not been my decision. I have not and will not give them that permission, the father said. He said, I believe she can overcome this because miracles do work. And I am not looking at the picture that they are trying to paint. I am looking at the fact that she has a heartbeat and she is still alive. Ebanks had indicated that he was prepared to make his journey to New York once his documentation was cleared. I do not think what they are saying is her journey. She's young, and she has a full life ahead of her. Amber's loved ones hold on to hope. Well, that time they were holding on to hope. They were drawing inspiration from similar stories of miraculous discoveries, other people who had been in similar situations and had made it through. Look at the girl who was beaten, and stabbed by 5 women at a party. Her sister Caitlin said, in reference to a young lady that was named Kaylan Dowdy. Dowdy spent the last 18 months in a hospital. My sister only been in there 2 weeks. They're ready to pull the plug. Dowdy spent 18 months in a hospital, much of which was on life support, following that vicious attack at a party in November of 2020. She looks so good right now, you would never believe. They said that she was brain dead. So her sister was using that story to, bolster her belief that her sister can make a similar miraculous discovery. And of course, there were people in the comment section saying, I pray for comfort and strength. Some people are asking, who will pay the hospital bill? Others were cursing that person out. Shut your ass up. Why are you worried about hospital bill? We're trying to save this young lady's life. Another person says, yeah, typical Jamaican. This is not KPH or UWI. Someone must pay. Another person says, well, in the United States, you get care before anyone is concerned about money, at least from my experience, and that's the human thing to do, or humane thing to do. Listen. One person said, listen, there's something happening in the U.S. hospitals. They are very wicked. There are many cases where they do this and try to destroy people's lives, rushing people to their death and ask for organs after. What the sister is saying is spot on. She's 100% correct. They have this new thing, palliative care, but it's pretty much the same as hospice. Do not let them put your loved ones in there. And do not let them put her on any morphine. This is a real thing happening in the U.S. hospitals. Do not take it lightly. Their whole thing is to try to get you comfortable with the idea of death and to make her as comfortable as possible, as they like to say. Try to also avoid all forms of research hospitals. The only thing I would recommend you do right now is to call up every church and family member you know and go get into some serious fasting. Read the Bible to her every day, especially Psalms 91. God is more than able. Amen. Listen, I'll tell you like this, right? I don't knock people's faith, because when life throws you these types of hook balls, you have to have some faith or something to hold on to, or you can lose your mind. Mikey B says, man, this is sick. This is sad. On one hand, you could consider the person suffering. However, it is always an overwhelming decision to make to stop life support. Understandably, there will be some costs that are associated with keeping the people alive on life support for an extended period of time, but what price can you really place on a life, though? You know? This is one area where I will go against my own wife's wishes. For her, if she is ever in such a situation, I should just quote unquote pull the plug. But for me, this is not something I could do. For if I were in the same situation, I would like to know that every single thing was done to save me. Not that I don't understand and respect my wife's wishes, I just couldn't do it. The sister here referencing that other lady who was in a coma for 18 months and now is healthy is kind of my whole view on the situations like this. I know the hospital wants its room turnovers quickly. Somebody else, another patient who can pay, can get into that room, etc. But I would feel very rushed, especially if there are already unsavory people asking about organ donations. Y'all ever seen like when roadkill happens, like car hit down a vehicle, animal on the road, or an animal dies on the road or out in the wild, and or the animal is injured but hasn't died yet, and then you seen the buzzards that we call jonquils in Jamaica as they circle and they circle and they wait and they wait and they circle. They're hoping for death. Sometimes that animal that's injured is able to crawl away, go somewhere, lay low, heal up, and then lives to fight another day. And other times, the buzzards just circle until the last breath. And they are there while the blood is still hot in that animal to start taking it apart, getting to their favorite parts. That's how I see these organ donor people, and I know that those organs can save somebody else's life. But sometimes I think they push this to get to the organs of people who have lesser money to save people who have more money. And it comes down to a money thing. Because honestly speaking, if Amber's parents were rich, this would not have happened to her. You know, the other story says the dad was fighting to save his daughter in a U.S. hospital. And that was the last story that was printed. And it said that Richard Ebanks, who is separated from his critically ill daughter Amber by thousands of miles, was enduring agonizing wait at the last update. A court hearing had decided that the family has 10 days to move her from that hospital, or they are taking her off life support. He said, we have 10 days to move her to the facility, or else they're definitely going to pull the plug. That is what our lawyer is saying. But we just need to get her moved. in 10 days, her sister said. Health officials in the Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx, New York, declared Amber brain dead nearly 2 weeks prior, intending to remove her from life support. Now, despite that grim prognosis, Ebanks, who had been unable to enter the USA due to the visa issues, had still remained hopeful. At the time, he said, "I am not doing too good. I have not got a response from the embassy since the last time I was in contact with them. My associate, who assisted in filling out the application, tried to contact them and still there was no response." This is sad. I think for people like these, their travel documents should be expedited. They should be able to be there within 24 to 48 hours. Just people controlling people's lives, you know? Now, based on documentation, news media house The Star had reviewed from Ebanks. The last case update was August 9th of 2024, which outlined that the U.S. consular officer had adjudicated and refused his visa application. Wow. But this was after he was granted the visa and his passport was in retention for processing. See that right there? Now, Amber was moved to New York. We already told you her story. She moved to New York in 2021. She was a business management and accounting student, and she suffered a stroke. We don't need to go over that piece right there, right? The father was saying, the sister was saying, her family was saying, "I really need her by my side. I really need to be by her side. My daughter is still fighting," he said. "She has not opened her eyes, but her features look different to me. She looks real good in her face and even her skin. In other words, it looks like she's still very much alive and could possibly make a recovery." Amber's sister at this point, Caitlin Ebanks, she gave an update on the ongoing struggles with the hospital's decision. And at this point, she had said, to be honest, she don't wake up yet, but she's looking much better to me. Her color is coming back, and she's just looking so much better. Despite this, the process of moving her from the hospital to another institution, New Beginnings in Long Island, also located in New York, that will take some time. You must understand that when somebody is in a coma, for our listeners, it's not that easy to just pick them up and move them. It's not like somebody who has a hip surgery or a leg surgery or something, and you can just be cautious while transferring them and position them a certain way and take them out of the facility. It's completely different. A whole lot of medical stuff has to happen transferring somebody who is in a coma, medically induced coma. The owner of the facility said that she would need 2 weeks to get everything in place, like the nurses and basically everything else. But they already said that she's ready to accept her. So the legal battles to keep Amber on life support has been intense. They're begging for like 2 more weeks. Please hold her just until the other facility is ready, please. To me, man, that's wicked. Our lawyers are trying to get the courts to at least put her back on her fluids so she'll have strength, or she'll be in a good state when it's time to transfer her, Caitlin said. It's really nerve-wracking because Dad is not here. I'm trying my best to make the right decisions. Both Amber and I need him here right now, but I don't know why it's taking so long. There's another court proceeding today in which Caitlin will have to testify. With all the unfortunate happenings, a glimmer of hope is shining through for this family. The facility that we're moving her to, the lady is not even charging us any money. I'm telling you, God is so great. Even doctors who are not licensed in New York, but they're willing to come here to New York, fly here to treat her. We are banking on the 10 days, but Amber still isn't on nutrition or hydration, and it was recommended that she be put on those. We need a doctor from New York who is licensed in New York and independent from the hospital to come and assess her. So that's what we're working on right now. Once the doctor comes in and assesses her current state, then probably we would relay that to the courts for them to put her back on food and nutrition. So at last update, it seemed as if Amber, her family were fighting to get her moved to this new facility. Let me tell y'all something, right? The last thing I heard, not from source confirmed, I heard that she had passed away. Yeah, I heard that she had passed away, and I saw that on a Jamaica news media outlet. It's important, people, guys, ladies and gentlemen listening. It is important that you invest in life support. Not life support, but life insurance. Even if I'm taking a simple trip to Jamaica, right? I live here in the state of Florida for most of the year, but we go to Jamaica a lot. So even if, say, I'm taking a trip to Jamaica and I'm taking my whole family with me, sometimes the tickets alone can be a bit pricey when you're moving a family of 4 or 6 or 8. But can you imagine me making sure that I have travel insurance, medical evacuation insurance, which is different from travel insurance? Please, I want y'all to listen. Medical insurance, travel insurance is different from medical evacuation insurance. And then it gets more different once you get to the medical evacuation travel insurance site, because there are different choices, different levels that you will have to pay for. But I would prefer to purchase that. And these types of insurances will go the length of your stay in that country. So if I'm going to Jamaica for 2 weeks, I will have that insurance for 2 weeks. Or you can, if you travel to this place or travel a lot, you can just pay their annual fee. They will medevac you to wherever you need to get to top tier hospitals who have experts in whatever your condition is. They won't just fly you back to the US and drop you at any hospital. It's very important to have insurance like these. And like I said before, if Amber's family was rich, this would have never happened to her. Because you never see stuff like this happen to rich people. You know, the family fought, man. They fought all they could fight, you know. And then there was on Facebook, then there was on other sites where it said she died. They pulled the plug. You know, and of course over there, people gave their, this is so sad, this is so heartbreaking, young, beautiful young lady, full of life, so on and so forth. My condolences goes out to the family. Watching little video clips of her, I'm sure she never thought that her life would end like this. I'm sure nobody around her thought her life would end like this. Her father said she had a long life ahead of her. He absolutely did not think his daughter's life would end like this. But it did. And to my audience that I speak to every day, this and these are the things that I speak about. It doesn't matter if you're in your early 20s, if you're late 30s, if you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. You don't know. You don't control. You give thanks and praises to the Most High. You wake up every day with good intentions, a clean heart, clear conscience. Be good to people, spread love. Be the best you that you can be with every gift of a present day that you're given. May Amber rest in peace, and may her soul find eternal peace, and may her family find healing in this situation. God. Leave your comments in the comment section below, guys. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.